Hi, Mrs. Hannon here, and here is the next episode of the Reading Rangers. Very excited to see you today. Today we're going to tackle BD confusion, which is something that I get a lot of questions about as a reading specialist. The first question that I always receive is, my child is having a hard time distinguishing B and D. He or she is reversing them, writing them incorrectly. Should I be worried? No. Alrighty? Unless your kiddo's in the 5th grade, I wouldn't worry too much. And even with adults, sometimes letter reversals can happen. It's not a sign of a neurological condition. It's nothing to panic about, especially in the early grades. It's really common. Why? Because we're just figuring it out. All right? And kiddos are learning how to write them. So there are 2 different reasons for BD confusion. And I have some pretty strong opinions about it, so stay tuned. A lot of kids, once they learn how to write B and D correctly, might need a memory cue. All right, we'll get back to the writing in a second. But they're going to need a memory cue. Which one is which? I can't remember. Well, reading teachers have come up with all sorts of easy reading memory cues for B and D. So over here, I'll show you. We have Mr. BD Eyes. See, he's got beady eyes because he's got his B and D glasses on. That's a helpful cue just to hang in the classroom. Where do you sleep? You sleep in a bed, and it even looks like a bed. You could put a little pillow and a blanket on there, a bed. Alrighty. You've got the old B, D, and that's nice because kids carry that reminder with them wherever they go. All right, B and D. And the ever popular B has a belly, D has a diaper. Cute, huh? Right. But here's the deal. These memory tricks are only to be used once it's established that your child is writing it correctly and consistently. I would say 95% of the time, if you show me a kid with BD confusion, I'll show you a kid who writes them the same. And that's actually where the problem lies, okay? So I'm going to show you some tricks today for making sure that your kiddo is writing B and D correctly, and they'll never, hopefully, mix them up again once they're writing them. A lot of kids will write B and D the same. They'll start with the stick, alrighty, and make the ball. Start with the stick and make the ball. Well, that's really problematic, because if you start them the same way, there's no way to differentiate the wiring. We know that handwriting has a lot to do with bringing sounds and shapes together, alrighty? So you want to avoid that. If you see your kiddo, and they're pretty young, making this mistake, it's worth it to be a little bit on the strict side and correct them, okay? So gently, of course. So let me show you how you do make B and D properly, okay? Down from the sky, bump the line, and B. That's a B. You start way up in the air, in the sky. Alrighty? Now, for a D, magic C, lift, down from the sky, D. That magic C is important, all right? If you start the letter D with a C, much easier. The magic, and we call it magic C because it's the basis of so many other letters, right? So let me show you how that looks on paper. Alrighty. Putting the dots where to start is a huge help for a kiddo who's just learning. So I would say to a kiddo, all right, sweetie, we're going to write 3 B's. You have to start on the dot. Down from the sky, bump the line, and B. Down from the sky, bump the line, B. And one more time. Down from the sky, bump the line, and B. Great job. Alrighty, you wrote 3 B's. Now, young'un, I want you to write 3 more B's without that starting point. Can you do that for me? That's how I would approach that with a child. Next day, approach D. Don't do them both on the same day, please. Magic C, lift, down from the sky, D. Notice how I'm saying the sound as soon as I finish the letter. Your child should too. Magic C, lift down from the sky. D. Magic C, lift down from the sky. D. Now make 3 more without the starting point. Then you can progress to having them on the same day and practicing, alrighty? This is worth doing right in kindergarten and first grade, all right? It's worth doing right. It'll solve a lot of problems down the road, or it won't solve problems down the road. It'll keep them from happening in the first place. Prevention is the best medicine. Now, let's say you've got a kiddo in the 2nd grade with some BD confusion still. Well, I bet you dollars to donuts they write them the same way. You have to unlearn it and relearn it. Poor kiddo. At least we can make it fun, right? And this works for the littles too. You can get yourself a nice container of sand or salt. I used kosher salt here. Don't use sugar. Ask me how I know that. Alrighty? And what you'll do is go ahead and have the kiddo write in sand. All right, and that tactile input is really important. Make them say the directions from the letter. Alrighty, down from the sky, lift, B. Or magic C, lift, down from the sky, B. That's a D, actually, sorry. Let me do that again. Magic C, lift, down from the sky, D. Alrighty, so you can do this in sand, you can do it in sugar, you can do it in cookie dough. There are a million different ways to get that tactile input cemented and get the neural pathways connected. Alrighty, so any questions about BD, make sure to let me know. Any questions about reading period, make sure to let me know. I'm here to help. Until next time, bye.